Please make me a fan.
What the fuck?
Mental vacation.
Makes me seem like a horrible individual.
And you are.
Yeah.
Have anal sex with a person who, prior to the deed, has swallowed a piece of raw bacon.
What?
like fucking a chicken.
Maybe off.
Well, make me a fan of your crime.
They still had places to go. You know, there were still bars.
Make me a fan, Captain.
Who's singing?
No.
I'm like, whoa.
I was wooing.
All right. You girls ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about some feminist shit.
Yeah. Let's talk.
Sexism.
Let's talk
Can you
about.
please turn me up, actually?
Oh,
That would have been a perfect start to the podcast, but we're still going to leave that as a podcast because I believe in equal rights, and I'm not going to puff Carrie up. So welcome to the Make Me a Fan podcast. Hopefully she can hear herself finally. Although I think I just turned up the wrong one.
Yeah, I think you turned yourself up.
No, I turned up yours. I don't think women can tell anyway.
Oh my God, here goes.
yeah, here we go. It's going to start already. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I am the host, Shauna McGregor. I'm joined by always, I'm already starting, as always, with my beautiful wife, Carrie. Say hi.
Hi.
And we have, to celebrate this episode, I originally wanted to have an extra female on the podcast, so it would be me and TJ and Carrie and ex-female. And I put something out on Facebook about it, and one person responded to begin with, a longtime supporter, Sasha, and she wasn't sure if she could do it because of the kids and whatnot, and she's going to get back to me. And then she said she could do it, and right around that time, it blew up, and all of a sudden we had like 40 people that wanted to come on the podcast. 40 girls that wanted to come on the podcast. They didn't even know the topic.
No exaggeration at all. Well,
No.
you did ask for a female
You
opinion.
just said,
Yeah.
you put it out there. You needed to do a podcast that needed to have females. So, of course, we're all going to be like right in your face.
And what you just heard was our two special guests, Dee and Shauna, not to be confused with Sean. So, welcome, ladies.
Thank
it's
you.
nice to have guests again. I think once, now that summer's kind of dying down, hopefully people will start wanting to actually come over and do topics again.
Yeah.
Because it gets kind of boring just talking to my wife and my brother every weekend.
Whatever.
Every weekend, just,
Oh my God, yeah.
these two fucking people again. All I'm doing is reading notes, and all they're doing is not paying attention.
Oh my God. Whatever.
Yeah, I actually had, before I thought of the idea to have females, or rather a female, I gave TJ the night off, by the way, if you haven't been able to tell. I am outnumbered, but I am breaking the glass ceiling. I broke the glass ceiling by having my first female guest on. That was Kaylin, back with the Nikola Tesla episode. And then the next one was Sasha with yoga. And now it's 3 women, 1 man. Break that glass ceiling.
Yeah.
So before I had the idea to have an extra female on, I had a shitload of notes. I actually researched the entire feminist history.
Of course you did.
Yeah, but I figured you are all females. You already know, all the important dates. So fuck those notes. Like,
Yeah, totally. Because isn't that like I don't know, feminism? You like assuming what it is though by assuming we know all these history dates. Wouldn't we have to be
Well,
like
hold
history
on.
buffs to know all this?
I should have started this podcast different. I should have apologized for all mankind for oppressing you females. I just want to let it know that I am a Sith Lord, and I apologize for my gender.
You're a what?
Sith Lord.
What's that?
Me? A white heterosexual male? I think. Right?
I don't know. Do either of you know what a Sith Lord is?
I don't know. I think we should do a Webster dictionary.
I don't. I
and
think you
then-
should give the definition of what that actually is.
I can Google
And
it
then
real
the
quick.
Urban
Yeah.
Dictionary version.
Well, we are having
Ooh.
a special Urban Dictionary episode, part 2, coming up in a few weeks. So stay tuned for that if you enjoyed the first one. But let me Google it. Sith Lord. Google says Sith Lord was a title conferred upon individuals who follow the... This is Star Wars. Maybe
So you're
shit
Star
lord.
Wars.
Maybe
It's a shitlord.
Maybe I'm a shitlord.
I think it's shitlord, actually. I don't know.
Oh, Sean, have your facts straight before you use it.
This is
Like
what
the word.
Now I got some Japanese shit.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
he's sorry is pretty much what he meant.
Yeah. So, I have a little bit about the creation of feminism. Maybe Carrie, you want to read this highlighted feminism and then the 3 waves of feminism to start the episode?
Sure.
Since I'm done reading because I can't read for shit. I'm like Floyd Mayweather. I can't fucking read.
so we get to learn something new during this podcast, and I should have moved. I'm sorry, I need to move this down. I can't read it.
But you just drag the, you know it's a boom, right? Like the entire thing moves together.
Okay.
Try holding it up.
Is that better? Yeah, that's better.
Your arms move really good. Like you can hold something up like this in front of your face, like an old person.
Like this high over my face.
Or in your lap.
Yeah, just anywhere.
I didn't know I was reading. Sean.
Go ahead.
Anyways, so feminism. This is off to an already amazing start.
Yeah, Carrie can't go. How long is it? It's 6.5 minutes. You can go 6 minutes and 5 seconds without touching the microphone. That's a new record.
I don't want to start. You should have one of our guests start.
Okay, who wants to read?
I will read
Okay.
now since my wine's still full.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just read the definition of feminism, the top one, and then the 3 waves. I think that's pretty interesting.
Okay.
Make sure you're reading the mic, though.
I'm going to say his name wrong, but Charles Fourier, a utopian socialist and French philosopher, is credited with having coined the word feminism in 1837. The word feminism and feminist first appeared in France and the Netherlands in 1872, Great Britain in the 1890s, and the United States in 1910, and the Oxford English Dictionary lists 1852 as the year of the first appearance of feminist, and in 1895, feminism.
So
That's
what
the
are
whole
what are
thing.
the 3 waves?
Yeah.
I'm pretty interested in the 3 waves.
Okay, the 3 waves of feminism is the history of modern Western feminist movement and is divided into 3 waves. Each wave has dealt with different aspects of the same feminist issues. The first wave was comprised women's suffrage.
Second worst talker.
Hey, I'm getting most of these words right. I'm surprised. All right. The first wave comprised women's suffrage movements in the 19th and early 20th centuries promoting women's right to vote. The second was associated with the ideas and the action of the women's libertarian movement beginning in 1960. The second wave campaigned for legal and social equality for women. And then the third wave is a continuation and a reaction to the perceived failures in the second wave of feminism, which began in the 1990s.
Yeah, so I was pretty surprised by that. I didn't know you girls considered, having waves and shit. And the whole introduction of the word feminism, like where it came from, is French, It's 1872. Isn't that when Columbus sailed over here? 1872, Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Mayflower?
Yeah.
No, that was like in 1692. Christopher
that's right either.
Columbus sailed the
I think it's
ocean
like
blue.
14.
Oh my god.
I think it's 1492.
Now I have to Google this.
I got $5 that says 14 something.
You just said
Yeah,
1885.
you said 18.
Yeah.
No. Don't gang up on me now. Just because I'm a shitlord doesn't mean you can...
A shitlord.
When did Columbus sail to America?
Siri, when
In
did Columbus sail?
1692.
When was your second guess, Sean?
1492.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. I
Damn,
remember
I'm
lyrics.
200 years too soon.
Yes. All right, now that we got that little history lesson, let's...
Yeah, we got the 3 waves, basically. The first one is like the big one. I mean, that's basically the founding fathers. They got women to vote and shit. And shit, I don't want to be offensive.
Hey, you be the male role, we'll
thought
be
you
the
were the-
female roles.
Well, hey,
Right.
I'm gonna
I
talk
thought you were
about...
the shitlord, so...
Damn right, woman. Made me put you through a wall.
Oh my god.
But then...
My husband, everyone.
Okay, so the first wave was like starting it The second wave got women to vote. And then the third wave, like, burned their bras and shit and really went, like, gung-ho. They got women basically, like, equal. Like, but then, I don't know if it's too soon to mention it, like, there's, like, a new wave of feminism. Where I read that only less than 20% of women nowadays consider themselves feminist.
And what is that definition for the current time?
Like, a fourth wave? Like,
sure, if you're saying it's like
That's
the newest
what-
one.
yeah.
So what's the newest?
The newest
I'm
version.
really scared right now. I have 4 females staring at me.
Four?
Three.
Oh, shit.
Wait.
Yeah.
Lacey's behind D over
Oh,
there.
okay.
She's peeking. Lacey's Shauna's daughter.
No, but
She
I
brought
totally
over.
get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah, like-
basically, there's this new wave of anti-feminism.
Well, no, there's like
No.
an extreme version of feminism
Oh.
where it's like instead of going for equality, you're kind of going like the masculine or not the masculine role, what chauvinistic role, but reversed, where it's like women are better than men.
Or like how the African Americans are trying to be
Yeah, we're only
overpowering the white now. They want their turn. They don't want equal rights.
yeah, like
They
only
want-
white people can be racist.
Yeah.
Like only men can be sexist.
That's a whole nother podcast. But
Well,
I
it's kind of
totally-
like that. Like the new version of these feminists in the
feminism.
now time is more about what they want and not just what they equally deserve.
Yeah. But do you guys, okay, out of you three, do you consider yourself a feminist?
I mean, I vote and
So that doesn't
No,
mean you're a
I
feminist.
don't.
well,
You're not a-
what is your new term of feminism
Well, no,
mean?
okay, well,
And then I'll say if I am or not.
what's the
Haven't you
definition
seen
of a
any of those
feminist?
like feminist face groups on groups on Facebook groups on Facebook
No.
where it's like almost like borderline like just I don't know, like on the cusp of like you're being a little offensive to the other gender almost.
Right.
Like some of
Like,
the things that are posted.
Like, they're actually man haters.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
like,
In a sense.
oh,
To put
they
it
kind of
bluntly,
like grow out
yeah.
their nasty armpit
Well, that's-
hair and
that's like a
say,
feminazi.
No.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Do you girls think that men and women are equal?
I believe they should be.
They should be or they are?
I don't believe they are treated equally.
Okay, so you think men are treated worse than women? I
Better.
take it better.
Better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think men are treated better,
Most definitely, yeah.
Carrie?
I think they hold rank.
So you think it's like the racism thing where only men can be racist or white people can because we have the power.
I think that it's changing, but you know, like it comes down to like the professional role. Like you see more, like way more men in like higher up positions than you do women.
Well, that kind of steamrolls right into the wage gap myth.
All right, let's do that.
Do you guys? You've obviously heard the wage gap. Obama was talking about it.
Yes.
How many years ago? The glass ceiling. The what is it? 77 cents to a dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys believe in that?
I do.
Have you looked it up at all?
I have.
What have you found?
Well, I, being in the corporate world myself,
Yeah.
really feel that there's something to be said about men thinking that women can't handle the corporate environment.
Yeah.
So that
And I think it actually affects their wage. When, in essence, in my opinion, women can handle it better than men because we are very motherly.
well, I think to
Let her
say
finish.
well, I was just going to say
No,
to
yeah.
broadly generalize like the whole men can do this better, women can do this better is too marginalized.
in a
I think
sense,
some women can do things way better than men can do.
most definitely.
And some
We're
men-
definitely better multitaskers than you guys are.
Well, multitasking is also
Yes.
a myth.
Organizing, categorizing,
You can't
planning.
multitask. It's impossible.
Oh, yeah, we
Scientifically proven. Sorry.
Yeah, you can. Yes,
No,
you
you
can.
can't.
I'm gonna call
You-
bullshit on that. Yeah.
Well,
you
Hey,
can.
look at me. I'm talking and drinking wine.
What you think is multitasking, like, okay, yeah, you can do two things at once, but is that really multitasking? You're moving one leg while your arm's swinging. So technically that's multitasking.
No,
your brain, your brain can only focus on one task at a second. It can split off in split seconds, but that's not the definition of multitasking. A computer can multitask. You can run two different windows at one time. Your brain cannot. It's been scientifically proven.
I don't agree with
Your
that.
hands are doing two things out right
Okay,
now.
I'm
Well, what's your
thinking
brain
about
doing?
it too, though.
Shauna's rubbing her stomach and patting her back.
though, like, I want to hear the rest of your thought,
Yeah, I'm
though.
sorry. Go ahead.
Well, of course, now I've lost it. But I seriously do think that people can also, women are very good at multitasking. And I'm not saying that men are not.
Yeah.
Because I have seen men multitask as well. I think it's just in a woman's nature.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Do I believe in feminism? Yeah, I think that women should be created equal to men.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was a housewife for 14 years, and I had a dining room table, and only one chair had arms. And it was for the man of the house.
Oh.
Because he
There's
ran
like
the house.
An old school,
Yes.
like
The head of the household.
1950s Archie Bunker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that does bring me to another point. There's so many points. Like, how do you girls feel about like what Dee lived and then what she's living now? Like, there's some women that just I'm not saying you wanted this, but there's some women that just want to have a kid and stay home and raise it. And there's some women that don't want a kid and they just want to go become
want
the
a career.
CEO. Yeah.
Right.
Or they want to be
career.
both.
Yeah.
Or both.
Right.
Yeah. And
Which
it
I don't
seems
know
like-
how anyone would do that. That is
You get really
multitasking that is
Beyond anything.
what I know. Yes.
So,
and
modern
props
day-
to those women that know how to do that.
Yeah, for
props
sure.
to them. Yeah.
Well,
modern day feminism kind of puts down the woman that wants to do the traditional role where they want to
does.
stay home and just be a mom and not work.
Right, raise
Right.
the kids, take care of the house, take care of
Right.
dinner.
Make
Yeah.
a lunch for the man,
that's
pat him on
sexist.
the
yeah,
ass,
but
and
I
give him
think
a kiss on the
that's
cheek.
what makes
Yeah.
women even more like
Special that they can do that?
talented because we take care. Not. I shouldn't speak all of us, but like many women are like the sole household people that do the household things and work,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's others that it's split or different. It's just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying like. I guess anyone could be in that role, but I just feel like I talk to more women than not that like do the cooking and or do the cleaning.
Yeah, it's not something that you should put a woman down for if she wants that traditional role. It's not like
Right.
a man is forcing her into it.
No, for
Like,
sure.
Men can be home
Yeah.
dads.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's my dream
Definitely.
job.
Mhm.
That's all I want to do,
Right.
be a stay-at-home dad, like Michael
Right.
Keaton.
But on the flip side, if the woman is making the lunches, cooking the dinner, taking care of the kids, cleaning the house, what is the man doing? He's
Bringing home the
taking-
money, which controls
He
everything.
is, but
But what
in
if they're
the
equal?
household, he's taking out the garbage, he's cutting the grass, he's doing the
That's
oil
true.
changes on the cars,
Killing the
and
spiders.
he's with the
Well-
women that are freaking out, like, oh my god, it's a goddamn bug, like,
So it kind of equals out.
So it does, and you have to have that balance, in my opinion,
For sure.
between the two
yeah.
people that are together in a relationship to not focus on male or female roles,
Yeah.
but being together as one whole
Yeah, you're
to
a
make
team.
everything work.
Oh, yeah. My thoughts exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
So feminism, in my opinion, is it right? Is it wrong? I mean, do
kinda
we get
like-
treated unequally? Sometimes, yeah, we do.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like sometimes we don't. We bring it on
It's
ourselves,
like
too.
it's yeah.
I think a lot of men view, if you're cohabitating with a woman, I think a lot of men feel that they have to help with house chores, they have to help with dinner, they have to help with laundry, But the thing is they're not helping their wife do the chores or do the dishes or cook, and they're not helping, the woman do the chores. The man should say, I'm going to do the laundry because I also have laundry to clean. I'm going to cook dinner because I also want to eat. I'm going to help and clean the house because I also live here. That's the kind of thing that I think a lot of men and women are striving for in this, time. But equality
is doing everything together, and you're also going to grab the weed whacker and go while he cuts the grass, like whack the weeds.
Definitely.
Right? Okay.
Yep. Or pull the weeds while he's cutting the rest of the grass. But it should be equal. But I think a lot of men feel like they are. I gotta help with the chores, or I gotta help cooking. Yes.
Well, I feel that you and me, though, Sean, have like fairly equal things.
I'm saving this podcast forever. We're at 20 minutes in.
There are a lot of times where I just really just don't want to cook. Like, I just wish someone could cook for me because...
Like tonight? And what did I do?
You brought home a pizza.
And that's great.
You didn't cook.
It was delicious.
I can easily bring home my own pizza and cook it, though. What's nice about having someone else cook for you is someone else is like preparing like this meal for you, like a new flavor, like putting work into something that you're not. And that's all. But
but Sean recognized that you didn't want to cook, so he's like, I'm going to go out of my way, buy a pizza, and bring it home. So
it was pre-planned that he was bringing home food.
She wanted to make a pizza yesterday, but we're all out, so she made a bag dinner.
No, I didn't have anything to cook because I didn't want to cook yesterday. So I was like, okay, well, pizza or this easy stovetop dinner.
So you didn't want to be the Sally homemaker and
cook dinner
because she works a full-time job.
Because
there are just some days where there's just a lot going on where it would just be really convenient if there was someone else there to cook dinner. But he also works a lot, and therefore, he's
looking forward to dinner too. So now how do you compromise?
So
do you want to wait till 7 o'clock to eat, or do you want to eat at 5 o'clock?
But he does like other things like taking care of the lawn and like the garbage
and the spiders and centipedes.
The spiders and centipedes and there's other things. But I mean, it's hard to balance out like a full household when you have one person or both people that are just working full time and working a lot. So,
but the point was that you didn't want to do it just because it was just a day that you didn't want to do it.
Right.
So he picked up the slack, not because he felt obligated or like, oh shit, my woman's not being a wife. She's not, I got to buy myself a damn pizza. It was, okay, you know what? I don't want to do too much either. I'm going to get a pizza and we're both going to eat because we both want a day off. Yeah. And there's no problem in that. If Carrie decides I'm going to cook a nice dinner and Sean's going to say thank you and help with the dishes.
I always do. Yeah, we have a deal when whoever cooks, the other person does
cleans
the dishes.
up.
Yeah.
So now
that's how it is in my house too.
So now if you were a total feminism and you believed in feminism completely, you would say, I don't have to cook dinner. You cook dinner.
I made my own peanut butter and jelly and cheese sandwich.
Right. That's what I say when I'm mad at Sean. I'm like, well, I made my dinner, so
right. Good luck with yours.
Figure that out. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So, why are you staring at us like that?
I'm just letting you girls talk. I know what happens when you interrupt a flockle of women.
A flockle. Is that even a vocabulary word?
Look that one up.
That's a new word.
I think I just made that up.
Urban Dictionary.
A shithead or whatever you call yourself.
I'm a shithead, and this is my flockle. My flockle of chicks.
Oh my god.
Such a hen house in here. Jesus Christ.
Oh, see, that's the problem.
And I haven't even gotten to my women jokes. I haven't done any of them yet.
I remember when I briefly worked at Conway, believe it or not. Did I tell you that ever? I worked at Conway? Yeah, I worked in
we don't need to mention names or anything.
What was it?
You're in the office.
Yeah, but what was I doing?
You're billing.
What was I doing? It was something not very good, obviously.
She was still in college.
No, it was super brief. It was literally my second job, so I would like work my other job that I had been working at like pretty much throughout my college education, and then started working at Conway. And anyways, they would always refer to us as the hen house, and I'm like, And there were only women, and the boss was a guy.
So did you get to call him a cock, or would that be, not feminist?
Well, he was a dick, so yeah.
Well, I think that's
Okay,
just
but wait a minute, though. We're getting off the subject. That's not feminism. That's sexism. That's a completely different
That's
podcast.
true, yeah.
Well, I mean, they do kind of overlap a
That
little
is
bit.
sexism. Yeah.
All right,
It
well,
does kind of overlap, because if you're making less money than a man,
We can
is
go
it
back to that
because of
myth.
sexism, or is it strictly feminism? How do you break that difference between
Sure.
I'm making less money, is it because I'm a woman? That's sexism. And it's also feminism.
Right.
So it does overlap.
Right.
Yeah, back to the wage gap, that whole 70 cents for every dollar.
Oh, right.
It's 100% bullshit. The wage gap activist says that women with identical backgrounds and jobs as men, the 23-cent gender pay gap is simply the difference between the average earnings of all men and women working full-time. It does not count for the differences in occupations, positions, education, job tender, or hours worked each week.
Because men hold higher positions and therefore make more.
Men pick more dangerous jobs. You don't have a lot of women
Construction,
working on
ironwork.
I
oil
was gonna
fields
say,
or
right.
truck drivers or,
Well, I've seen a couple butchies.
yeah, they're not really women.
They
I don't want to assume their gender. I don't want to do that. I don't want to assume anything. But yeah, I mean, cops, firefighters, like the dangerous jobs women don't go to.
I'd say the majority are men. There are women doing those jobs.
Yeah,
oh,
but
totally,
they're
yeah.
A
the
grand
men,
majority.
the
is
men though
But
in
it
like
also-
the top floor
No.
work
Actually,
buildings.
studies show that women
Oh.
CEOs make more than men.
Really?
Yeah.
It's because they got tits.
And
That's the
also,
last time I let
this-
only you do research.
And men work more hours a week than women.
I
Like
don't
me and
think-
Carrie make the exact same hourly wage, basically, if you base it on 40 hours.
Like,
But
right,
because
break
of
it
my
down.
overtime,
for-
I make
right,
like $20,000 to
With my
$30,000
on-call.
a year more than her.
Right.
Otherwise, we'd be exactly the same.
Right.
And you also have to factor in maternity leave, because that doesn't count towards your wage.
Oh, that is.
But they got male maternity leave now, too.
2 weeks.
2
Then you have to use
weeks.
your fucking vacation time.
Not at all companies. I think that depends on the company. That's like a benefit package.
I work
thing.
for a pretty good company, and we have good insurance. Based on my
Right.
head injury, I don't have to pay it as much as I thought
Based
I
on
did.
my head injury that I think I remember.
Yeah, that I've been kind of clued in on. Yeah. So yeah, men get like 2 weeks off. Women get what, like 2 months, I think.
6 weeks.
So my friend
6
just had a
weeks.
baby a couple weeks ago. She's getting 12 weeks off.
But she must work for a really big
What is that,
company.
4
I was
It's a
going to
bank.
say, yeah.
She works for a bank.
Yeah.
I think she said like the first 9 weeks are like 80% paid, or she gets paid 80% of
Doesn't
her full time.
FMLA cover 12 weeks?
Yes, but it like breaks down like the last 4 weeks are only paid at like 60%.
Yeah, it's FMLA.
So I mean, you still get paid. It's
Yeah,
still
exactly.
paid leave.
Sure.
But she's at least getting 12 weeks. But my other friend, who has obviously different insurance, she works for a hospital even. She is only getting 8 weeks, and anything over that, she has to take personal time off.
Yeah.
And obviously that's paid because it's personal time. But I mean, 8 weeks for a newborn baby, and then all right, see ya.
I think that
I don't
is
know.
could
I've
also
never
be
had a
another
newborn.
podcast. That's like I think that's crazy because I think it's so important for like families to be with their new baby. And I'm not just saying woman.
Well,
like,
we're so different from Europe. Europe, both men and women
Yeah.
get equal time off
Yeah, they
when
get,
their
like,
child is born.
I
It's
think
almost
in
like 6 months.
It's
Sweden
6
or
months.
yeah,
Yeah.
someplace they get like
Yeah.
a super long time, and I'm like, yes, that's like
But they also have such a small population. That's why it works over
probably
there.
because they're raising better people to not be
Yeah.
getting
You
knocked
don't have
up
welfare
carelessly.
over there,
Right.
so I mean, it's like if the 4 of us lived in this house together, like,
Hey, no.
and we all worked, and all 4 of us worked our normal jobs, and we,
Right.
pulled in our normal
Yeah.
paycheck. Like, if 2 of you had to take 6 months off out of the year, it'd be no problem.
The other
'cause we
two
could afford that.
we could
But
support
if
each
you
other,
get
yeah.
50 other people in here, and they're not making as much as us, and then we're constantly, oh man, I need money for the bus, to get to work. Yeah, that's why that shit doesn't work.
Yeah, but over
in America,
I don't know what the exact percentage, but from what I understand from all my friends having kids or, relatives, For the most part, men have to take PTO in order to see their kid for the first week. They take a whole week off of PTO, personal time that they've earned to just hang out their wife and kid for a week.
Because
so,
men are meant for those, or not meant for, but like they always end up in the higher up positions. So they they give them. I
think it's due to like the cause of having a baby on your body. I think that's a huge factor that women need to recover from that.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, why don't men at least get like 4 weeks fraternity leave? It's not paternity.
Maternity.
It's maternity and mother.
What are they?
But you take a paternity test.
That's Alpha Sigma.
It's definitely not paternity.
Paternity is college.
It's not fraternity. It's a paternity with a P. But they should get at least like a month off of paternity leave that doesn't include any PTO taken.
Because it's important for fathers to be in their newborns' lives just as much as mothers. More than mothers, actually. No, less than mothers. That's what I meant to say.
I think it's equal.
I think it's
equal.
No, because woman though, like mothers, I mean, like if you choose to breastfeed,
So I guess it would be like probably like 60-40.
I think newborn babies
55,
do have a higher connection with their mothers, though, don't they, when they're first born?
I imagine they're
but
connected
shouldn't
through
that
a cord.
but shouldn't that be time for the father to also introduce personally?
Totally.
Because all they can hear is the voice. They don't feel the feelings or connect with the woman on that level. That's like a very important
like
bonding
waking
time.
up in the middle of the night with a newborn baby. I mean,
then they got to go to work in the morning. How the fuck does that work?
Yeah, and you can't just put that all on like one person to be
they just had her badge ripped open and stapled shut.
to be to put a
it's sutures. They don't staple your taint at all.
But no, like I can only imagine having to deal with on-call phone for like weeks on end, because I always compare
with
the
a
on-call
bloody
phone
badge
to,
and a baby crying on your shoulder.
Right.
Yeah, and
Sean,
puking and
whose
shitting.
baby is crying?
Oh my
whose
god,
baby is that?
That was really loud. Sorry. No, don't make no. Anyways, okay.
So that kind of brings me to another question I kind of had. Do you guys believe, girls? Do you girls believe that?
I'm a lady.
I don't care if you say
broads
guys.
believe that?
You broads. Whoa.
You cunts.
Right.
Hey,
listen to me, you fucking cunt.
Whoa. I do not condone that. That is not a regular guest on the Make Me a Fan podcast.
I just got bleeped out like 5 times. Can we curse on this show?
Yeah.
All right. So
yes.
Do you lovely ladies believe that by nature men are the hunter-gatherers, and by nature, not all, but the majority of men are hunter-gatherers, and by nature, women, most of them, are the nurturers and carers, caregivers?
Yes.
Definitely. But
Okay.
I do have a big but. I think that evolution is happening.
Yeah. I
And
think people are changing. But
they are definitely changing, and I feel that the feminism thing is coming into effect because of evolution, and women are becoming 10 times more independent, and they can survive without a man.
Oh, I totally agree. Women can. I mean,
so
I'm a survivor.
Carrie made it 21 years without me.
Oh my
she
god.
She barely made it, Sean.
She did. Yeah, she was a wreck when I met her.
Yeah.
Whatever. I've always been very independent.
I got her all shooting guns and voting for black sheriffs and
let's go that's
What do you mean you got her?
I
so
got
you
her.
manipulated her into changing her own mind?
Because she's a woman, I easily twisted her mind around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was super easy.
Right.
And when she didn't want to, I just put her through a wall.
Or in a wall. No, I also think that they're the hunters and the gatherers and the providers for safety and security. And women tend to be the motherly type, the concerned, the ones that, are responsible for worrying about how to make everything work and go together. But it's not on the level of cavemen and women. It's not like that anymore.
But like the majority, I mean, women gravitate towards nurse and school teacher, and men gravitate more towards like,
construction worker and
or-
welder.
Yeah,
Specialized trades. Right.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of women like that are tuck pointers or bricklayers
Right.
or, welders and
you got a lot more men that are
You
like
know.
nurses and teachers nowadays, but
do.
like the majority
Yes.
of women, a kid falls on the ground, usually, I don't know about nowadays anymore, but usually it's a woman that, goes in to scoop it up to make sure it's okay.
Sure.
And the guy's
He
like,
keeps calling
he's
babies
fine. Huh?
You
Kids?
keep calling kids it's.
It's-
Scoop it up.
Scoop it up.
I'm not trying to assume the gender. Okay? I'm not trying to do that. Okay? It's a scoop Z up. And then Zer is all concerned about it, and Dyer are just fine.
I have no idea what that meant.
I don't know. If you're in Canada, I'd probably be in jail.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Eh.
I think we're talking about a different country now.
I mean, if you think about it in a household, it used to be like in the 60s that the men would work, come home with the paycheck, the woman would have dinner, the kids would be there, and it would, the wife picks up after dinner and pours the man a drink, before he watches the night news. That's how it was, 50, 60 years ago.
That's how it was when I was growing up, except my mom worked a full-time job
I
also.
think like more, yeah.
Right.
But now, I mean, if you're thinking about a feminism now, maybe my understanding is completely wrong. But I think, in a household, if you're cohabitating with a man and you are the roles hunter, gatherer, provider, nurturer, caretaker, worrier.
Right. That was the point I made at the beginning about like women doing more overall.
But I think the things are different now. It's not,
Yeah.
You cook, you clean, you take care of the kids,
But
you
some
go to
people
work,
do.
you take care of the outside of the house.
Yeah,
Right.
it's more shared.
I think it's very more shared. And
the
I think
hunter is also the nurturer.
right. And he has to, he goes to work, but then he also come take care of the kids because the wife was also working and she
Right.
cooked dinner. I think
Well,
a lot of
'cause
things
you
are
love
shared.
and care about your kids and you want to spend time with them. I would hope, anyways.
Right. Right.
Sometimes I lock myself in the room
Well, we all know. What
and
kind
eat
of
my
you
own
are.
Twizzler by
Just
myself.
kidding.
I don't want to share.
Yes.
Aw.
And that's
Look,
also
Bird, I would share it with you.
Yeah.
Just drowned her.
Yeah.
No, that's when mommy needs a timeout. I tell her, like, mommy needs a timeout. I'm in trouble. I need to go by myself. Yeah, but I think a lot of the things are shared nowadays. So I don't understand what this huge uproar about feminism in, 2017. I think a lot of it's very shared and very equal and very fair for the most part. I mean, you still have your egotistical, independent men that, women are here to serve me. And you also have a lot of women that say, fuck you, I'm going to do it by myself. If you don't appreciate my effort, do it your damn self.
Right.
So I think it's very shared. And I don't understand how strong this feminism movement is today, because I don't see, at least in my circle of friends and family, that it is overpowering one way or the other.
Okay. What were you going to say, Dee? You look like you want to say
I
something.
totally lost it. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Next time, interrupt me.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it seems, not to use names, but from what I can gather, the new wave of feminism is the feminazis, where they're the ones that hate men, that think men are the ones that are strangling them and keeping them down. They're privileged, and women are far superior. They're basically the opposite of the guy that thinks my wife better have my dinner warm when I get home and my beer cold, or I'm going to punch her in the face. It's like basically the opposite of that.
Sure.
It's a bizarro version of the male chauvinist.
So-
It's like women not doing things that women and men can do solely based on the fact that it's considered a woman duty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
are you
like-
saying that feminism's now, or the feminists now are saying that the men should do what was previously understood and expected of a woman 50 years ago?
Well, basically, there's like groups on Facebook, the Women Against Feminism social media movement. It has 50,000 members that are all women.
Wait, what is it called?
Women Against Feminism social media movement.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in one of the Facebook groups that I am in, they bash that group or talk. They're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this group exists" or something.
All right. Well, yeah, basically only 20% of women in the U.S. consider themselves feminists because women are seeing the feminist movement now as angry and blaming men for women's challenges. In another New York Times survey, results showed that only 18% of Americans consider themselves feminist. However, 85% claim they believe in equality for women. Considering that believing in equality for women makes you a feminist, this is interesting, if not a little disturbing, especially in the light of increased violence against women. But what is most mystifying is the anti-feminist women are sprouting towards feminism. Feminists. The vitriol anti-feminist women are sprouting.
Yeah.
Yeah, bitches be hating each other.
That's always been a thing.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
never gonna
anything
change.
new. That will never change.
Yeah, women be bringing the drama.
They
Or so
do.
I've heard. I'm not saying anything. I just heard this.
Dee and I know all about men saying women bring the drama.
All right, so should we talk about, do you girls think that men are the privileged sex? Do you think we're privileged? There's white privilege. Is there male privilege?
I think I think that it's still what's the word, like prevalent in some
Cultures?
not cultures, like communities maybe, I don't know, or companies even.
Companies, okay.
Well, like companies, yeah, for sure. Like
Because if you look
in
at like
cities,
the Middle East,
Why don't we just look
obviously
at it
they're-
as a whole,
As a whole.
gradual whole in America?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, in America, you think men are the privileged class?
I don't know. I think
Do you think there's
has.
male-
I think it has more so to do with maybe what class you are than what sex you are in terms of
What do you mean by class?
like people
Like
who are
middle, upper,
higher
lower?
upper class
Right.
might probably have someone that
wealth?
is in a higher position and therefore can boost others in those higher
So
positions.
you think like a black woman can have more power? A rich black woman can have more power than a poor white man, is what you're saying. Okay.
Look at
Then you're
Michelle
sexist
Obama.
and you are racist. Thank you. You can go away now.
Oh my god.
Well, then I should go away too.
Right? Yeah. Shauna needs more wine. Can we pause this?
Why don't you go grab the bottle and we'll keep talking about this.
All right.
Because I don't know
Grab
what's
the
going to happen if I
bottle.
pause this.
Oh, you want me to go grab it?
Someone, yeah. Don't touch anything when you're leaving.
I actually think that the whole situation boils down to nothing more than competition between race, sex,
Wealth.
wealth. It's all about competition. That's it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's
too many
it's-
people picking teams.
Women now want to be better than men. They think that they can do just the same thing as men can do, and they can. They should be able to. And, people that are poor should be able to do the same thing as people that are rich.
All right. Well,
They
I
shouldn't
have
be
an
able to get
issue with the
free
whole
water
poor
skis.
people don't have the same opportunities as rich people. I think it's easier for any male or female who are either born into wealth versus men or women who are not born into wealth. You have the same opportunity to do anything you want.
I disagree with
I
that.
do think that the wealthier people have a heads up or a kickstart into it. They can easily get a job because of their last name.
Sure.
But that's not to say that a poor person, whether they are male, female, black, white, Mexican, Hispanic, Asian, can't go to college and get a degree and take a loan out and turn their life around. They can live with a friend, not have to pay rent, family member, in a busted car. They can do whatever they want in order to go to college and make themselves
Carrie said
something.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
No, I totally
Everyone,
waved
looked
my
up at
hand.
me.
I
it's
totally
fine.
waved my hand. But I mean, it's not, more rich people, whether you're black or white, are given better opportunities or quicker opportunities, I should say, versus, with someone in a poverty-grown city or town. You can still have that same opportunity. You just have to work harder, and that's where
a problem.
That's where, whether it's sexism, feminism, or race issues, yes, it's harder, but you can make your own opportunities. You don't have to be a struggling woman saying, "Oh, I have to find a man with money because, I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to have kids." No,
Women
you
don't
can.
need men.
Some women
No,
do
you can
that
go
as
to
an easy
school.
way out.
They
I
don't.
think, though.
I think you're absolutely right. A lot of women look for the easy way. Like, I don't have to work. He can make the money. I'll stay home, watch Netflix, go shopping. I don't need.
What do you mean?
Not you, don't worry.
You're.
Not you. Shut up, woman. Just kidding. Don't hit me again.
Don't put him through the wall this time because he didn't deserve that.
Yeah, last time you fractured my skull.
Oh my God! No, you did that to yourself.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
No, I'm
that almost
sorry.
sounded like Paco for a minute. Is Paco coming back?
Oh God!
You didn't invite him over, did you?
Did you didn't listen to the Mexican Vacation one yet?
No.
If you listen to the Mexican Vacation one, you can meet Paco.
Yeah.
Okay.
My buddy Paco is over. He's funny as hell. I love Paco. He's the hardest worker I know.
Hardest working Mexican,
Yeah, I know a lot of them, actually.
I do too, for sure.
All right, so the facts I got that, the myth is men are the privileged sex. The facts I got that I haven't read in the month that I've had these notes, and I haven't gone back and looked at them since I'm staring three females in the face. But basically, neither sex has a better deal. Modern life is a complicated mix of burdens and advantages for each sex. Women are assumed to be the have-nots because a massive lobby devotes itself to proving Venus is worse off than Mars. Mars' afflictions go unnoticed, so let's consider a few of them. This is a lot of fucking... It talks about the wage gap, how men do the fucking hard work. Like 5,000 American workers die from the marketplace accidents each year. 90% of them are men. Education beyond high school has been called the passport to the American dream. Men and women, or women have it and men don't. Like, you look at me and Carrie, she went to a 4-year university.
Which ended up being 6.
I'm sure a man probably did it in 4, but...
Oh, my God.
But I didn't...
No, because if you go to a university, they'll likely figure out some way to keep you there longer than
especially
4
if you
years.
do a useless degree like liberal arts.
Yeah.
Or...
I'm sorry, what degree do you have?
No, I agree.
Oh, I don't... That was my point. I barely graduated from high school. I
Same.
got expelled my junior year of high school.
Same.
I got...
Really?
Yeah.
And
For
now
smoking
I
on
make...
campus. In my cheerleader outfit, no less.
I never knew that.
What'd you
D,
get
oh my God,
expelled
that's
for?
so
For
awesome.
smoking on campus.
Does anybody
in my
else want to see a picture of
cheerleader
D
uniform.
smoking in her cheerleading
Wait,
outfit right now?
smoking a cigarette? Smoking a
Yes,
cigarette?
yes,
You got
Yeah.
expelled
cigarette.
from that?
Yeah, there
What
was
school
no
was that?
Horlick.
Really?
Yeah,
In
the,
the ghetto.
Rebels.
Oh.
They still have the flag.
How do they still have that
Ooh,
name?
I don't know.
They're
I
gonna-
don't know.
They're going to get burned down.
My class ring has a little rebel on it with the rebel flag on the
You
side.
got a rebel
and-
flag ring?
Yeah.
Get out of my house.
I don't have it on.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's a different podcast
But I
because
have it.
that flag does not stand for what everybody thinks it does.
No, it does not.
It stands for Leonard Skinner. Come on. Who doesn't love
There
Free
you
Bird?
go.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah,
That's where it's
exactly.
at.
Yeah, but no, like,
like
Sean,
breaking into
that's the
song.
point about the whole like men making more thing though.
Exactly.
Although it,
yeah. So how are we more
you
privileged?
you work more, but you're not in a salary position, so
you-
therefore you make maybe more. Maybe if you're salaried, you
But-
would make more. I don't know.
But
Fine,
Sean's point was you went to a 4-year college, you got a degree.
yeah, you
Right.
spent a
And
lot
Sean
of money.
barely graduated high
But I
school,
would-
and he makes exactly the same as you
Well,
do.
and that's
Sure.
Working harder.
Yeah, that's
and
about
it's a different.
education itself, being a complete. and
Yeah,
utter
So
waste.
would you
Unless
say
you're
that
going
Sean
for
is
specific
privileged?
degrees?
But would you say Sean is privileged because he doesn't have a fully
No,
4-year
because
degree?
I have been with Sean prior to him becoming a truck driver, and I know that he worked his ass off to be where he is at.
As most skilled laborers are.
Yeah.
And I consider a
Right.
semi-driver skilled labor.
For sure.
Right.
No, I know you are hardworking, and I know
Thank you.
that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
But someone gave him a job without a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
Someone gave you a
I
job
did have to-
because you have a 4-year
he
degree.
had to
Right.
though. You took that CDL training though.
Yeah.
He was lucky to find a trucking company to offer him CDL
For
training.
free, yeah.
while working.
Well, that's because I'm Irish, and Irish is the best race in the
This is
world.
true.
The guy who hired him is probably gay.
No.
No, not at all.
Irish joke today. I'm trying to remember it.
Have you ever met a gay person in trucking?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you go to any truck stop, any lot loser is actually a guy.
Oh my God.
And they're like, a mouth to mouth.
I've never actually seen a lot lizard. I've always wanted to, because I seen a prostitute once, and it was a tranny. Not that you can say that anymore.
Okay, let's change the conversation.
Yeah, let's go back onto this feminism
All right,
conversation.
Let's do that.
What were we saying? About men being the privileged class. Also, consider the mother of all gender gaps, life expectancy. On average, women outlive men by 5 years. The numbers are starker when you factor in race and ethnicity. In the U.S., Hispanic and Asian women can live up to 88 or 85, respectively, and white and black men, the ages are 76 and 72. Mm-hmm. And today's women's lobby deploys a faulty logic in cases where men are better off than women. That's unjustified. Where women are doing better, that's life. Final verdict: if Mars, basically Mars needs to check his privilege.
Well, going back to how men die sooner than women, I think we're coming to the end of that era.
I think so.
that people that are now, the men that are now in their 60s and early 70s and the women that are in their, 60s and 70s as well, that era of them growing up and having to work through, maybe they're born during the Depression and they had to work through that and find themselves through all of the hardships of the early 1900s.
He hasn't worked through the Depression.
Okay,
My grandma
I'm
was.
not good with math.
Neither am I.
Still 2003 for all I fucking know. So, but what I'm saying is that I think that generation of...
We're getting
I'm
weaker.
still 16.
It's September now. No, so...
Wake me up when it's over.
Right?
So I think that because, the people that are now 70, 80 years old, they lived a lot harder of a life than, the 20s and the 30-year-olds that are now. And I think that generation is kind of growing out of it. But back then, the men worked. They worked hard. They worked long. The women stayed home to take care of the kids.
Sure.
So that's why they're outliving, because they aren't exposed to the physical demands on their bodies. They aren't exposed to, your coal mining. You're doing, the chemicals.
Sure.
It's hard.
Shit.
And that's why... On your statistics there, the people that are now dying at the age of 67 and women dying at 75, they're outliving the men because of how they grew and how they lived and how they worked. But now there's a lot more women working and there's a lot more men working. I think our life expectancy is going to be longer.
But I think women are still doing, no offense, the easier job. They're not
completely
on
agree.
average doing
Physically wise?
Yeah. Physically. They're not working in the coal mines. They're not the oil plants. I mean, that's got to be the number one business in the U.S. The fracking oil. And they're not doing that. They're not doing the concrete. They're not doing the welding. They're not doing
I'm
the
sure there
plumbing on
are
average.
women doing that.
Yeah, I'm saying on average.
Right.
The majority,
So-
heavy majority.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you still have I know a lot of men nowadays are moving towards the tech and the IT and the nursing and shit like that. But I mean, you still have you need manpower to make the world turn. And I'm not trying to be sexist,
No,
but
it's just your body composition.
Man,
You can-
though, refers to human, I think.
well, I was about to say the manpower that turns the world, the majority that makes the power, the physicalness of the world turning is men doing it. We're doing the grunt
physical
jobs.
labor.
Yeah, we're cleaning the sewers. We're driving the semis. We're fixing the roads.
Right.
When you drive through construction, you might see one or two females, but you might also see 50 men if you actually see people working on it.
Yeah, I don't-
Right. And if they're not just
Please don't
leaning
lie
on the
here.
pole, because that's the
Hey,
majority of
go
the time
slow.
what they do, because they're
Stop.
union workers.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So, but do you also think that because men are out there doing that physical labor job and women are home taking care of the kids, the life expectancy of a woman is longer because they have less physical activity
less stress.
and less stress? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about less stress
I
because
was
stay-at-home
just
moms
gonna
are go
say.
fucking
back
crazy.
in the day. But now let's talk about today.
Yeah.
Now they're doing the same thing in the home and working, and their stress level
Which
is
also
like
circles back to what
out
I
the
opened
door.
with. Yeah.
Right.
Women are doing everything they were doing. Not all women, but some women are doing everything they were doing prior to working, but they're also working.
Well-
Like, I feel like if I met a housewife from the 1950s, I feel like she would just be amazed by, like, what I do.
Well,
And that you
looking at
have
my
thoughts
mom.
and opinions
And
and you can think for
your
yourself.
mom, for
I'm
sure.
a 1990s housewife. How come you're not I should be
Well,
amazed
think
at what
you've
you
evolved.
Well, let me ask
No,
you.
but Sean's mom, I just want to give a shout out to your mom real quick
She's
because
awesome.
I do think she is an utter badass for being able to support her household and be able to work and cook and clean. And I know your dad does things too, but like
Raise
I know
really
your
good
mom.
My mom goes above
Sure.
and beyond.
Yeah.
Sure.
Your mom
Yeah.
definitely puts everyone above, like before her, and I really commend her for that.
Yeah.
And Sue, I hope you listen to this.
Well, now I'm going to sound like a complete asshole for saying what I was going to say before this, but you were like, if you take, we can't just do the things from the 1950s anymore. Now we're working full time and we're doing all this. Whose fault is that?
Really?
I think it's the governments. They're making everything more expensive, harder to obtain, harder to get. They're forcing everybody to have to work 40 plus hours. Before
see
you had
that.
a husband, a wife, and maybe a kid or two. And a husband was
Like
able
the
to work
cost
40
of
hours a
living
week.
was lower.
And they were able to survive off of, 4 people in a household,
But-
off of one 40-hour week salary. Now, you need 2 salaries. Almost
not
over,
3.
if not
Right.
3,
If not
to be able to
3.
afford your food, afford
Welcome to
your
America.
things, and that's not even
No.
even saying toys and fun gadgets, keeping up
Yeah,
with the Joneses.
I was
That's
gonna
just
say
trying to
that-
fucking survive.
No, it's not just to survive. That's also to have your cable and your cell phone bill and your newer car and your
No, I just
TV.
said without.
No, well,
you need
the-
2 salaries to
no, the
live even
studies-
without
the
all that
studies
shit.
I've read
Yeah.
shows that because I've looked up the whole minimum wage bullshit, and basically it's not that far off from where we were back then, adjusting for the cost of living, where you're factoring your fucking new Jeezy shoes,
I think
your
a lot
new
more people are having
iPhone,
more
your new
than just
TV,
2
your
kids,
video
too.
games,
Yeezy.
like
Do you
shit's
mean
more
Yeezy?
expensive because we have more technology. Like back in the 50s, what'd you have? A 13-inch black and white
That you had to
tube
hit every
TV,
5 seconds.
a fucking
Which was
ham radio.
Yeah, which was $400 and
And lasted you a long time.
And the one man's salary
Yeah.
at $12,000 a year
But
to
you
buy
bought that once and you never
But
needed
the
another one.
$400
Right.
Now you need
TV
a
was
new-
like a big deal. Like
But now you need
they
an
had to have a
$800
family
phone
discussion
every
to
single
buy the
fucking
television.
year.
Well, yeah,
Right.
we've become a lot more materialistic as
Yeah.
a society
Yes.
for sure.
And
I don't think
I
that's
mean,
man's
disgusting
fault,
and
besides the
appalling.
fact that man designed all that
Yeah,
shit.
you go to look at an older house and you got this tiny little closet, and you're like, "This is where both me and him are supposed to fit our
Yeah,
clothes."
you
Right.
make
And you're like, my
No.
tank
Oh my
tops
gosh,
won't even
shit.
fit in
right.
that.
No.
Yeah, you
You
can.
can blame advertising, TV, social media, all that for bigger closets.
But is that man's fault?
pushing
All
products?
right, so
style,
back to
fashion.
Sean's question.
It
Whose
is.
fault is it
It's
for a
not
woman having to
man's
work
fault. It's
and taking care of the
humanity's
house?
fault.
Right.
It
Okay.
is.
In general.
For getting
Yeah.
greedy.
It is humanity's
Yeah.
fault in general.
Yeah.
It's
So-
wanting to
Exactly.
look as best as you can without having a good heart and a good
Yeah,
mind.
it's
You
like
just want to
wanting
look
more,
good.
for
You don't
sure.
care about if you are good.
Right.
So you have to buy the clothes, buy the shoes, buy the hair, buy the makeup, buy your
It's all about social status.
It's about what you look
Sure.
like and what people think you are. So
Right.
yeah, you have a lot more expenses now, but me, I don't have that. I don't have cable. I have the cheapest phone bill I can, but I work a lot. I don't have cable. I don't have anything extra fun. I just bought a house, but at the same time, my one salary is barely cutting it just
Yeah.
to survive. I don't
You're
have all
also
this
a
extra
single
stuff.
mom, too.
Right,
Right.
but my point is you have back then you had a husband working on one single job, 40
Yeah.
hours a week. Even being a single mom, yeah, I work barely just more than 40 hours, but
Yeah, but you're basically doing the job of two people because you're taking care of your daughter and you're working. And then you also got to find time for yourself.
But I don't know.
So I think
Don't
it's
get mad at me.
society's fault that a woman also has to work to be able to.
But men,
have a
though,
household
I
succeed.
think that's where you're going to go with that.
No,
Is
you
men
don't know
also
where
do
I'm
the same
going.
thing
No, I was just gonna
when
think-
they're single.
Yeah, I was gonna say if
fathers.
I was a single guy in the 50s and I'm working my job in the coal mine or whatever, and I'm making my $12,000 a year, and I buy my $400 TV and I buy my $200 car that's probably worth like $50,000.
Your Edsel.
Yeah, my super nice car. I'm like, okay, all I'd have to do, like, I can own this house by myself, this car by myself, this TV by myself. That's basically all you could buy back in the 50s, according to Leave It to Beaver. Basically, all I need to do is make an extra, like, you know, just enough to feed another person and a half, which is
But then, you know, you only work 40 hours a week back then, and then you had so much more time to yourself, to take care of your house, to take care of yourself, to do your hobbies, and now
exactly
we are
People didn't
forced
have
to work.
hobbies back then.
And
They would read the
yes,
newspaper and smoke
or
a
go
pipe.
hunt.
No, yes,
or
they
whatever.
had tons of hobbies,
They
and
played
they
tennis.
had
Let's
a
slick their hair.
home telephone that didn't have an answering machine or any type of voicemail. And
Oh,
when
you
they
actually
were
had to
not
talk to people.
home,
Hate that.
nobody could get a hold of them. And if they were taking a stroll in the park and taking, you know,
Serial killers got 'em.
Susie
Yeah,
for a walk,
That's why Ted Bundy's
nobody
awesome.
could get a hold of them.
I just
And
read-
I really think that that's also a big part of today's society's fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
Is that you have to be, with all the new technology, available 24/7, 365.
Yeah,
Hey,
You
you're not on
actually
Facebook?
get no
what?
break.
What do you mean you're
Yeah,
not on
I just-
Facebook?
Right.
I looked at my memories on Facebook and said something along the lines of like the time management devices that we created to save time and whatever basically consume our time
It
because
consumes your time.
your phone, which is so convenient.
But
Yeah,
you
like
couldn't
I literally
live
like
without it.
right.
no, because
couldn't.
as
Exactly.
soon,
Right.
but that's kind of a good thing because, you know, like when I almost forgot my phone at the store the other day, I like the first thing I do anytime I get in a store or restaurant or car anywhere is
You
look
take
for my fucking
the
phone.
phone out and you put it down. Like, oh, I gotta make sure if somebody is calling me
Yeah.
or is text messaging me or Facebooking me or whatever. I
Yeah,
gotta be
so
right
the
on
odds
that.
of me
Why do you
ever
think we
losing my
do that
phone
now,
are very
though?
slim.
Right.
Why do you think we do that?
Because we're fucking addicted to looking at screens.
And we're competitive.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
we want to advance. I mean, it's human
That's
nature
not
to think of
advancement.
something.
That's-
You don't think technology is an advancement? You don't think
Sometimes, no, I don't.
when
I
you're a
agree
kid,
with you.
Not a positive
when
one.
you're a kid, did you think you could answer any question you had in your head by
Oh,
just
yeah.
reaching to your phone, pressing a button, and
That's
asking?
amazing. Or just hollering
is
out,
that
"Hey
a-
Siri," and she's like, "What can I help you
Yeah,
with?"
you
You
hit a
ask
button,
her
you
a
ask.
question.
Yeah.
She'll
Yeah.
even call you
She,
beautiful.
like-
This is
Sure.
a totally different topic than feminism,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
it
no,
is.
I'm for it. Like, yeah, technology is basically like it's a
Okay, so that all ties to Sean's question 12 minutes ago is whose fault is that a woman has to also work?
right.
It's
Everyone's
society.
fault.
It's
Right,
society.
yeah.
It's government wanting you to
society.
be brainwashed, not
You
paying
could've
attention
just
to what's
chilled
really
out.
going on. Just look at your screens. Look at your screens. Nothing's wrong, but they're doing a whole bunch of shit behind. I mean, so
Right.
it's government also trying to brainwash you into not opening your eyes to seeing what's really happening and what's going on in the world. They want you to be dumb, but smart enough to listen, but not
Well, you
smart
know
enough
what's-
to challenge them.
you know what's going on in the world as far as what you read in the news, anyways.
Right, and that's complete bias because they get paid out by the bigger guys. So it's society, it's government forcing us to have to work harder and longer and more, time-consuming jobs and not spend so much time bonding with our family because we have to have the new TV, we have to have the new Xbox, we have
Do we
to have the
though,
Jordans.
or is
We
that
have
choice?
to keep up with
Everybody
the Joneses.
feels like they
Right.
have to,
Well, that is though what they did though in the 50s, but it was more so with like
Okay,
it was with
but
fewer things. Though.
You got to go back even further. You got to go back to the 40s. So
I wasn't
when
born.
women
Everyone needed
started
a-
working is when we were in World War II. Rosie the Riveter. You
Okay.
know her, right?
Do you have this stuff
Do
in
you
your
know
notes, Sean,
who
since you went
Rosie
through
the
all the
Riveter
lists?
is?
I know,
Yeah,
I
the-
don't. I don't
Okay.
know.
The chick flexing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Oh, the We Can Do
all
It
the
chick.
men went
Yeah, I
to
didn't know
war,
her name.
and women had to back home in the United States go to work and do the production that the men were doing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's where that all all started to happen.
Is that your first,
Way
your phase
pre
one
50s
or whatever?
No, that's phase
the
2.
1800s.
Oh.
So that's when
Yeah.
women
That's
realized,
phase
hey,
two.
I can cook a cookie and I can
still
also
go to work.
work on a
I
production
can
line.
make some leather bibs, and I can bust out some tires and
Yeah.
whatever, and put my bandana on with my little
Because
shirt
they
with
had
my
to.
sleeves.
And then they
had
realized,
to,
oh my God,
because
I can do
their
this.
men were away fighting for our freedom.
Right.
So again, I don't know. I feel like feminism
So
all
maybe we're
boils down to all evolution.
So maybe
Right.
we're
We
forced
are
into
evolving.
feminism.
Yeah.
Just like we were forced into
You know,
equal
I've
rights.
I've never looked at like what's going on in the whole gender area, just in
Oh,
general.
we're only talking about feminism.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I never thought of it as like an evolution thing. So
Right.
that's an interesting perspective.
Well,
Right.
do you guys think, like, speaking of women going to work to fill in the men's role, how do you guys feel about physical requirements for jobs? Such as like firefighters or the army, or cops, where
Totally.
Definitely.
Like-
I totally feel that they should be tested the same as men.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, we
that's
shouldn't
like-
get a 10-foot start.
yeah,
You're
you
putting
do push-ups
you're
on your
putting
knees.
lives.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, even like
Right.
yeah.
Okay, that brings me to fucking baseball. Men play baseball, Major League
And
Baseball.
softball.
Oh,
Why
yeah,
are
I
we
play
talking
baseball
about
too.
sports
You
with
mean
Carrie?
you play softball? It's the same fucking sport with a fucking bigger ball that's
It's like a
harder to
great
throw. Like, yeah, I throw
it's
like
underhand.
a bitch because it's a big fucking ball.
And girls would throw their shoulder out if they threw it overhand, so they have to do it
Yeah,
underhand really
men
fast.
don't hold those big balls, They're not used to that, so they hold the littler
No girl
ones.
I've met has been able to.
Oh, I'm not going there. I really want to, though.
I don't. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
let's
so
move
like,
on.
there. What was your question? Baseball,
Welcome
softball
to
popped
Make
in my
Me a
head.
Fan podcast.
Yeah, the physical requirements. And
Physical
you girls all
requirements.
answered. Which
Yeah.
surprised me.
At the same time, we're getting like really boisterous with the whole like answers lately.
You guys
right?
had a lot of wine.
Yeah, I was gonna say take a
Okay,
slide.
here's a big question as far as feminism goes, and this is, I have one more after this, but this one's kind of tricky. The other one's more quickie
Ah,
or tricky. Okay,
It's tricky,
so
tricky.
a man identifies as a woman. Is he equal to a woman?
Oh.
Like Caitlyn Jenner won Woman of the Year after
that bitch,
not
won.
even being
yeah.
claiming to be a woman after 4 months, but he still had the genitals of a male, but mentally he was a female, or she was a female. Sorry,
This
that's
is
why I'm saying.
entering uncharted territory.
But this has to do with feminism.
yeah,
It
so
does. It does. He's
So-
correct. Yes.
Yeah,
I
so
agree. Yeah.
a guy that won the Olympics in the 70s said he was a woman in the 2000 teens.
that
And
goes.
so and he won Woman of the Year.
Yeah.
Should that be reserved for
No.
actual women to show women respect?
Oh.
no, I think that awards should go to a woman, whether you are transgender or birthed as a woman,
Yeah.
because of what you have done.
Right.
So
Not
Kate-
because you have changed your opinion about yourself, but because you did a huge movement and provided something for the country, for the better, positive productiveness of the country. Something, you are a woman of the year because you did something huge, not because you just decided, oh, I'm going to be a woman. He did nothing. She did nothing to be woman of the
But
year.
isn't that like being courageous, coming out of the closet or whatever?
A lot of
It
people
is.
have come
That's
out of the
how-
closet.
Right. Okay.
before
So let's
this
go back
person.
to Ellen DeGeneres when she came out of the closet. That
thought
was
she
a
was
big
always out.
deal.
And she
That
has
was a
done more
huge
for a lot of
deal.
people's lives.
Right.
She's donated a lot of money to, disasters, to little people who wanted to be something, who had talents. She did
Right.
something. She's provided a lot of generosity.
People have looked up to her as a role model. You
Yeah.
don't think that's the same for Bruce Jenner? Transgenders?
No, I don't. No,
Well,
why
watched-
did Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner get Woman of the Year? Because
It's 3 months.
decided
She was a woman.
she actually came out as a transgender.
But RuPaul
And-
was a transgender for decades.
I read or I saw this article though where Caitlyn Jenner was at some transgender like conference of sorts. I forget the details, But this transgender woman came up to Caitlyn basically to be like, how the fuck are you going to donate to our cause when you are also donating to Trump, who, you know, had that whole thing with no transgenders in the army or whatever.
Which isn't legal and is not taking effect, by the way, in case people haven't looked that up.
I'm just saying.
He just said something. There's no thing in power to...
Yeah, well, this transgender person basically called Caitlyn out as a fraud, but I don't know enough details about it.
Caitlin's a Republican that doesn't believe in gay marriage. So...
Right.
It's just a Kardashian thing.
I just
think it's funny that it takes a guy 3 months to win Woman of the Year.
I'm still just curious to know, based off of the Kardashian history, like if Caitlyn Jenner is a legit like,
you want her to
look what they did
like
to fucking
icon
OJ
for transgenders or coming out or whatever.
Ray
you know, it's almost like I don't know.
And that other white dude that Kim married, that football player, she was married for like 2 days.
Who fucking cares about that?
I know.
Let's
Kardashian.
not.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Here's probably
what is the last question? Yeah.
Here's probably the most controversial one that I've heard. So, it's a woman's body. She has a choice to do with her body whatever she wants as far as abortion goes. Right? That's yes. Everyone agrees to that. Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. In China, they've had the one kid law for
2 kids. I thought it was 2.
No,
is it 1?
One. It's been they just changed it to 2.
Okay.
But it's been 1 for a long time because of population control. So they've been aborting females because they want a boy to carry on the name. And now they have all these boys with no girls to have sex with.
Sure.
So it's a woman's right to choose. She chooses to kill the female. Is that right?
Well, she doesn't know if it's a male or female.
No, that's why she's aborting it, because they can only have 1 kid and they want to have a male to carry on the family name.
Okay.
Right. So
I would never. If
they do the ultrasound and it's a female baby, then the mom is going to abort it. And then
so you're saying her rights are taken away from her based on gender?
Aren't they aborting a baby then, like, where they're basically murdering a baby?
Well, that's if you consider abortion murder. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just saying what you're saying.
Well, at that point where you can know what the gender is, that's fucking murder.
You can figure that out in the first trimester. There's tests. Oh yeah,
I believe it's like 12
definitely
weeks.
Yeah, there's like tests they can do to figure that out fairly quickly.
Pause.
Yeah.
Hold on. Someone just pulled out a knife. Hold on.
She's like, stop tapping the table.
And he's like,
okay, fine.
Are you going to talk about like your blueberry shits? Is that what you're
saying? Yeah. My
blueberry wine shits.
Blueberry wine shits.
Blueberry wine shits are the worst.
Well, once Carrie's done shitting, we can get back to it.
I think she was scrubbing her blueberry wine teeth off.
It's all right. I'm recording right now anyway. So.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we got to take a little break because dog got crazy. But we're going to wrap this up real fast. We've been at this for over an hour.
Yeah.
I know people don't like listening to more than an hour podcast, so we could probably go on for hours and hours. Oh.
Hours and hours, for sure.
Well, Shauna was talking about pooping.
No. Dee was saying her shit was going to be black.
She still has the purple teeth.
I got purple teeth.
That's because she doesn't.
So do you.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, you do. You totally.
Maybe she's more in the light than you are.
You mean maybe I'm more in the light than she is, and that's why you see mine.
This is why men are from Mars.
What? Women are from Venus.
You probably have more purple teeth because you don't rinse your mouth out after you brush your teeth.
I do.
No, you just wet the toothbrush and then rebrush it.
Then all the baking soda sitting on my teeth.
You don't use baking soda.
This has nothing to do with feminism.
Okay.
Why are we talking about this?
So, yeah, I don't know where we were basically.
You were asking the very last
question.
question.
A question about a woman has a right to do what she wants to do with her body.
Does she have a right to have an abortion strictly because it's a female?
Well, that's a totally different...
Wait, the fetus is a female or because she's a female?
The fetus. Well, both. Because
no, that's not
it's
right.
A woman's right to
it's
choose.
not right to kill a baby because of its gender. You have an abortion before it's baby, in my opinion, and now everyone's getting to know the real me, all fucking sides of me.
Well, that's the point of a
that
podcast, to get to know someone.
During the point in which you can say, have an abortion, in my opinion, whatever the weak point is, where
23 weeks, I think.
Yeah, as soon as you find out you're pregnant, basically, if you don't want a baby, I think that's okay to have an abortion, in my opinion.
You should abort it at that time.
Yeah, I don't think that you should decide when, I just found out I'm having a girl and I don't want a girl, I want a boy, so I'm going to have this abortion.
That's not the woman's choice.
Right.
In China, it is
in
not.
China, that's
to
a
answer
society
Sean's
thing.
Exactly.
question,
It's
though,
completely
if it's
different.
right
One
for a
girl
woman.
at a time. One girl at a time.
Your question, though, was,
I've heard
is
that
it
before.
right for a woman to have an abortion based off its sex?
Yeah.
And I'm saying no. I
Okay.
think it's okay for a woman to have an abortion
Based on not wanting to have a kid.
as soon as they find out they're pregnant, whereas not find out they're pregnant then waiting till the very last minute to have the abortion. Basically, if you have to think about it, then just fucking have a kid. I don't know.
So you think it's like if
No,
you
if you
found
think
out,
about it, you probably shouldn't have a kid.
so
Yeah.
you think it's like, okay, I'm gonna have a girl.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
have it. I'm gonna have someone with Down syndrome. I don't want to have it. I'm having. This is gonna be a black baby. I don't want to have it. It's like all the same thing. You're basing killing it on something
Right.
that it doesn't have control over.
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm not okay with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so say you live in that communist country.
I would figure out a way how to get out of that communist country.
You can't get out of that communist
They'll
country.
kill
China, I
you
think you
for
can. It's
trying
not
to
North
leave.
Korea.
Then I just wouldn't want to get. I don't know.
I just wouldn't want to be Chinese. Fuck.
Yeah.
How about I pick that option?
Yes.
Okay,
It is
well,
so
you
that
can't.
is terrible
You
for the
can't-
women over there.
You can't pick that option.
No, you can't. You were
And
born into
the
that
population
society.
control, the government has to do, the communist country has to do what they have to do to control the population.
Yeah.
And
Terrible.
your fertile is a Napa Valley.
And the men
And
will fuck
you-
whatever they want to fuck.
Okay, but you're married and you're trying to have a baby.
Why don't they make
and
it
you
mandatory
can
though
only
to
have one
give
child?
the men vasectomies?
What would you have? You want a male that can continue the namesake on because
Whose
that's
namesake? Because eventually there's going to be no women.
Yeah, that's the problem we
okay.
have now. There's no
so
women left for the men to
there
procreate
also
with.
lies some feminist issues.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's the point. Like
So-
you're killing women
Right.
because of the woman's choice.
Right.
Well, that
Right.
and that's why I don't think it's why don't they kill some? Why don't they just kill baby? Or why don't they just give people birth control and make it mandatory or something? I don't know.
Well, I'm a
I
strong
feel like there's other ways around it than just killing off one sex.
Yeah, I'm a
Can
strong
we-
believer in. I believe in not what China's doing, but I think now that we can have vasectomies and reverse it rather easily, basically 100%. When a child's born, you're doing the fucking snip, tuck, belly button, dick, whatever. Give them a vasectomy. So that way, every male child is sterile.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about any more. Hear me out. You don't have to worry about any more incest babies.
Well,
rape
that's what I'm
babies,
saying.
or-
Why just
I said,
kill
hear
the
me
woman?
out. I said, hear me out.
I'm agreeing with you, but
You don't have
okay.
to. I'm just trying to continue my point. You
Right.
don't have to worry about any of that. And then when you get to an age where you want to have kids, you can put in an application to prove that you can. That eliminates all the welfare for people that are popping out fucking 6 kids every 5 years and they can't afford them. That way you only have, it's basically Darwinism, the survival
Yeah,
of the
we've
fittest.
talked about that before, and I agree because I think America is heading in a similar direction with the amount of children people are having.
I believe in Tennessee they just passed a bill, or they're going to pass a bill that says if the men in the prisons, I believe it's Tennessee, like I said, if the men in the prisons voluntarily opt to get a vasectomy, they get out of their prison sentence 30 days sooner. So they're trying to encourage vasectomies to prevent people reproduction of not so good people.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, 30 days, it's 4 more fucking weeks.
Yeah.
Men have egos. They don't necessarily just want to volunteer for chopping off their nuts per se for 30 days. I'll wait my 30 days. I don't have to surgery, and you're not telling me what to do with my body. I mean, that is kind of happening, but I don't know. I think a big difference, if you want to talk about feminism and what feminists want to do with their body, is not necessarily the women in China, should they get a choice to abort their female baby or not. I think maybe the direction it can kind of turn in for America in this time is, if a woman gets pregnant with a child, is it solely up to her to have an abortion, or does the father of the child get a say in that too? Because if he gets a say in it, then that's equal rights. If she makes the decision, I got pregnant and I'm going to abort it because I don't want it, but that father that got that woman pregnant does want the child,
me and Carrie
is that
have had
feminist?
arguments about this.
It's her
Not
body.
We've been in the situation, but hypothetically speaking.
But it was a while ago, though.
So now you think, like, before we got married and you accidentally got pregnant, like,
I think
2 years into it, back when we were still on a rocky relationship, and I'm like, no, I want you to keep that kid. Like, I want to be a dad. And you're like, no, I'm just got out of college. I'm not ready for that. Who has the final say? That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I do, I think that it's something that would have to be discussed. I did say that I thought that it's ultimately up to the woman. The woman's carrying the baby. That's not,
The
though,
woman has to go through the whole debacle of
But half that
having
kid
that
is
baby.
still the man.
But there's a...
Like, I know, like, you're
I
both
know-
female and you both have to go through it.
I just want to finish my thought,
Okay,
and
sorry.
that is that I'm not sure I fully am on board with that thought now,
Yeah.
because this is like a couple years ago that we talked about it. I think it's very...
It was a while ago.
It's a very complex, answer.
Let me put this in perspective, okay? So you and Sean are together. And you're pregnant. Whatever stage in your relationship you want to call it, okay? You're pregnant. So you decide you want to have the baby. Carrie wants to have the child. Sean says, I don't want to have the kid.
But that's different.
So hold on,
because I already wanted
it.
No.
So if you say you
reversing the
want
roles.
the pregnancy, you want to continue with the pregnancy and have the baby, and Sean says, but I don't. You have the baby. He is forced legally to pay child support for the next 18 years. He is forced into providing support for you.
Okay.
You made the choice to keep the child. He said he didn't want it.
So you're basically saying that women aren't forced to pay child support.
So if you change that and you don't want the kid, but he does,
You just killed my
should
kid.
you be forced to have the kid and give all rights to Sean and then you walk away?
Or now you're responsible for 18 years to pay child support for that
because
kid
you
because
didn't want
he
the
wants
kid.
to keep it.
So
or you just killed my baby.
Right. And then he has
Well,
no say so. That's total feminism right there. If you say I have the final choice, fuck you, whatever you want,
Okay.
I make the final choice. That's completely
This is my
Okay,
body.
so if you recall, I said that was years ago that I said
No,
that.
I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying the
So
perspective.
now it's different.
More
Now
open.
I think that it is something that needs to be discussed and ultimately needs to be boiled down to what is the
case
best
by
option
case.
for my child, and if neither of us can care for the child,
But what
then
if you don't
should this-
agree? It's not if you can provide or
I
if
don't
you
know,
want to
'cause I've
provide,
never
but what
been
if you
in
don't
that
agree?
position.
But I'm not
It's a
talking
case
about
by
you.
case.
I'm talking about, your
Well,
by
then
case.
kind of like
perspective.
by default, then doesn't it pretty much boil down to the woman? The woman's the one carrying it. The woman's the one that can go somewhere and get rid of it if that's what she wants without the man knowing.
But
And
what if the man knows?
I don't know what the legalities are.
Right.
So
revolving
should the law
that,
be
but-
changed? That if
Right.
the man doesn't want to have the child and the woman decides she does, should she be 100% responsible for the
Responsible.
support of that child?
Right.
Yeah.
And let the man wash his rights
I
away?
think so. Yeah.
that's already a thing. The
Oh,
man can,
Yes, it is a thing.
Can sign away his legality rights.
Even if he's married?
But reverse that
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
Say the man
shit.
wants
Yeah,
to
if
keep
you
it.
guys are getting divorced, you can be like, you know
I was
what?
gonna
Oh, you
say
gotta be
you
divorced?
can't be married
I can't-
and then be like,
I'm
oh,
gonna.
I'm
I'm not.
having a
No,
gonna
I
tell
was
my
never
husband
married.
right away.
Mike, he could have
legal
signed
rights
away
to
his
the
rights.
child.
That's what Sean though is just saying. Like if me and Sean were to have a kid married and
I was
he didn't
making
want
a
to take
joke.
care, yeah,
Oh no, you can't do
you guys
that.
washed
I'm
over
making a
that.
Psh, right over the
You
women's
gotta
heads.
wash the diapers, like
So now
Gotta wash
reverse
them. What
that.
are we in
though.
the 40s?
yeah,
Oh, shit.
cloth
Okay,
diapers.
but I have a
We're
question.
saving the world.
Well, you go ahead, Shauna.
So I was just going to say, so reverse that now. So right now the law is if the The woman wants to have the child. The man does not. The man is responsible for 18 years to pay for support.
In Wisconsin, not in every other state, that's not the law.
Yeah, California's fucked when it comes to divorce.
Colorado.
So now, what
like,
if the man wants to keep the
equal
child
rights.
and the woman
Right.
doesn't? Should she be legally obligated to support the child, just like right now the man is for the majority of the
I
time?
totally think that if it were like the woman wanted the baby and the man doesn't, then the man has the right to sign over his rights, just as the woman would have the right to sign over her rights.
But
As
now-
though you're almost going
Right.
through an adoption like someone
Yeah,
else
but
is
But
the
you would
women
be
taking
still
over
have-
the
forced
rights of
Kind
your
of.
kid.
But you
And
would
then
be forced
he
to
has
go to full term.
nothing to do with that child's life. Right.
Yeah,
If
but
he,
in
like,
terms of if the
sets-
man wanted the child and the woman didn't and the woman's carrying it, that's kind of where it boils down to like
Because the woman has to give birth, then she has
She
more rights.
does.
Even though it takes
No.
2 people to have
No,
a
yeah.
kid.
Wait a minute, though. As soon as that baby comes out of your body, there is nothing like the bonding of you with the child.
No, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying.
it does take 2 people to make a kid, but also, I mean, like the woman is the one that fucking like
Builds
she's
it.
the pot that the seed is planted in, you know. Like,
Yeah, but
without
that
the pot,
seed-
there's no seed to be planted.
No, there's still a seed. It's just going to be
But it
in
can't be
another
planted,
pot.
just like woman
Yeah, it
has to have a
No.
man to have or
actually,
sperm rather
men-
to have a baby.
Men actually designed a way to have kids without a female. You ever hear of test tube babies? Like,
Well,
we actually-
females
But they have to be
But you have to
implanted in a
figured
body
out a way to
in the
have
pot
babies
to be
without
grown.
males.
Yeah.
too.
Well,
Yeah,
they
but-
did just birth a lamb out of a scientifically
Yeah.
created fucking
Womb.
uterus.
Yeah. Yeah. So we just made
So you don't even need
we
a
made
person.
a fake womb,
A genetically
And
modified
they're-
moon.
What's that thing they're
Womb.
working on
Womb.
where they can splice into your DNA before you're born?
Yep,
and
and
they can-
decide your eye color, your hair color,
Yeah,
your
your-
height,
yeah,
everything.
if you have retardation, anything, they can cure any diseases or problems you have before you're even born. Now,
Yeah, that's called
thanks to male scientists.
DNA.
That's me,
Wait,
pat
whoa,
myself on the back.
whoa. Whoa, how do you know they were all male?
That's super messed up in my opinion.
I just assume.
You assume.
That's
Yeah.
like you
'Cause-
know what? This is the kind of baby I want, and then the next thing that's going to be is there going to be like a
They're all
little
super
screen you walk up to and you select your options, like you're fucking
Yes.
creating a little bitmoji or whatever.
Awesome.
Well,
And then you got
You
your
guys-
baby. That's
you
so
guys-
fucked up. No,
I mean-
that should no.
but wait a minute though. You guys do that with your pets. I want
haven't.
an AKC like paper pet
I didn't do
and
that.
No.
well, no, I'm not saying you
Oh,
guys
okay.
in general. Like people
In
do
general,
that in
but
general.
I don't agree with
But
that
if
at
you
all.
no,
Right.
and neither do I. If you, 'cause
It's all about
this
the
is-
breeding.
This is off topic because if you go to a shelter, you're not gonna find that pug or that English bulldog. You might, but it's
You
rare.
might. It's rare
because
right.
that's a sought after breed.
Right.
So yeah. You shouldn't be modifying or selecting what sex to survive
what
or
the DNA
what the
is
what
of
they're gonna
the
look
child.
like. Yeah,
Right.
no.
Yeah, we
Right.
should just let nature.
Yeah.
decide.
Take its course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If we
Right.
ruin Mother Nature will ruin us. And
I
that's
think we ruined it
yeah,
for a
it-
long time
yeah.
ago.
And it's not also just biologically, but it's nature too.
But it
We're
could go back
totally
to what
tearing
Dee
it.
said. It's evolution.
It's
as well.
evolution.
It's how
Definitely
human
evolution.
race is
But
evolving.
how far do you evolve before you hit that peak and you start devolving?
Yeah,
well,
how
then
far
I
we
think
before-
we're on. I think
What's
we're
that
on the
movie
down.
where everyone's in fucking pods and they have the VR on? They're all super
It's like
fat.
the zombie
That cartoon.
apocalypse
Yeah, the-
2015.
yeah, Wally.
Yeah, or Idiocracy. How far before we're Wall-E or Idiocracy? You know, is that de-evolution?
We're getting
like maybe
so
we hit our
smart.
peak with the cell phones, and now we're like, oh, that's it. That's the best we can do.
We don't ever have to study or look into
Yeah,
things or go to the
exactly.
library anymore. We just ask Siri,
Right.
and we're
Nobody
so
knows
stupid
the
for
Dewey
it.
Decimal System anymore.
The
Like
who?
that-
The who?
Yeah, I don't know that.
The who?
Who's
the
Dewey?
who? Oh my god!
I'm
totally
even
kidding.
saying my
I'm
name.
totally kidding, but I'm proving
don't
your
know
point.
the Dewey Decimal System.
we
Are
all
you
had to
serious?
look up though when Christopher Columbus came to America.
I knew it.
That was your second guess, but I give
My
you props
first guess
for
was
giving
a
your
joke.
second guess.
My first guess was a
Oh,
joke.
of course.
That's kidding. That's kidding.
That's my way of saving face.
Oh, so
my God.
okay. So do we have like our last wrap up? Like, are we or are we not? Did our minds change?
Are we feminists?
Yeah, sure. I asked that at the beginning. I didn't really get
do you
an
really
answer.
think so?
You know what, though?
I want to hear what
I'm a
Sean
little
thinks on each
Hold
of
on, wait.
us.
Okay, one at a time.
Carrie, go.
Women don't do that.
Carrie.
Are
Yeah.
you a feminist? Do you
No,
think you're a feminist?
You go,
No,
Sean.
Carrie.
I did surprise myself a little bit because with some of the things I was disagreeing with you on, Sean. But I mean, ultimately, I guess I'm not a feminazi, but I am. I guess there are certain things that I guess fall in the feminism realm.
Okay.
But I am female.
So you should
So
technically...
you want to feel like a
So
woman,
You're part of the...
in a
Damn,
sense.
I
I'm a-
feel
Right.
like a woman.
Yeah, like I do all these things. Like
So you're part of the 20% that considers themselves a feminist.
An
An old school feminist, not a feminazi.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
D? We'll go around the clock here.
I don't think I'm a feminist.
No?
I think I fall into the old school realm of things. I definitely like taking care of my man, being domesticated, and like I said, having that one chair with arms on it for him in particular. It's very difficult in the sense that I now am in a relationship where I never have a man home. So now I get to be an independent person. And I think sometimes that makes me a feminist because I have to figure out how to take care of everything all on my own.
Yeah.
But if
you're the VP of a company too, so you're also kind of a bigwig. So
sure,
like you have that old school mentality.
And you don't have you have the pretty much the same education as Sean.
And I definitely feel in that sense with the career situation, it's finding your niche. I was very lucky to find my niche and get to myself to the point where I am today. And I actually contributed to the University of Domestication. I learned how to coordinate and prepare myself because I took care of my household.
And you worked your ass off for all that.
I did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I kind of took care of my household while I was in school. But it was
You
just
didn't
me.
have a household.
I
Yeah.
didn't have
Right.
kids.
It was you and your cat.
Right.
And my dog soon after.
Yeah.
No, when you had dogs when you were in school, I was in the picture.
Yeah, but Ava and Leota lived with me, just me, and I took care of them. And that was the best. Okay, Shauna?
He says okay.
That's the best thing you can say to a woman when she starts talking to much. Okay, yeah? Okay.
I think I fall in between Carrie and D. And my perspective is that a woman can do pretty much anything a man can do. Obviously, there's physical constraints just because of your body composition. But your mentality of, can I survive on my own? Can I provide for a family? Can I take care of my mental and emotional health? I think a woman can do the same things in those realms that a man can. I am pro providing emotionally and physically and mentally supporting your husband and taking care of him and being there for him and for the children and for the house. But I also believe that you are no better than me because you go to work and you listen to a boss because you do what you're told.
Yeah.
I also do the same thing. I don't think there's any better or any worse. So yes, in terms of, I believe that you might be able to be a better organizer, or work harder and be able to multitask and do what you need to do at work because you have that kind of mentality at home of taking care of your family and making sure everything's in line and, your schedules are intact and you're on time. I think that contributes. I don't think that a man can't do that as a woman. I think that would be, props to a man who can also do that as well. And there's tons of men that do that.
Yeah,
there are
sure.
great fathers who work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, come home, help with dinner, take care of the kids, put them in the bath, get them in bed, and then sit down on the couch and say, wife, how was your day at work?
Right.
It
And
is
do you
the
want
same
me to
thing.
rub your feet?
And rub your feet. You know what?
Right.
Let's scissor it, and you
Yeah,
rub mine
rub
while I
feet.
rub yours.
Ah!
Like, I don't know. Like, that would be my deal. No,
Yes.
I'm not rubbing your feet because I work too. Let's do each other's feet.
There
Like,
you go.
How about we just stay away from the feet?
Shauna, you're always so well with your words. You always
Yes, for
communicate
sure.
so well.
just don't
for
ask me
sure.
to spell them.
Okay.
Don't ask me to read them.
Right?
All right. So was that?
No, that was pretty
were you
much it.
interrupted? Okay.
No, that's pretty much it. A woman can do what a man can,
Yeah.
and a man can do what, the typical
woman
woman is
can.
viewed as,
Sure.
Has your opinion changed?
You guys, or girls rather. Fuck it, you guys.
Yeah.
Y'all. How
I
about
really,
y'all?
You
Yeah.
guys refer to like you people. Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
y'all
What do you mean,
mother-
you people?
Hey, y'all motherfuckers. No, like a lot of times I tell Carrie I'm more of a feminist than her because a lot of people they want equal rights, but they don't want equal rights. They want,
Yeah.
the door held for them. They want the dinner paid for them. They want to be worked for, but they don't want to do everything that comes with that 1950s package.
Sure.
And I do think that men and women are as equal as white and blacks or Hispanics and Puerto Ricans or dwarfs and giants.
Rich
Like-
or poor.
Or rich or poor or fucking Christian or atheist or whatever. I think it doesn't matter what your race, gender, or anything is. Like, there's always going to be someone better at something than you and worse at something than you. And if we stop,
Being
thinking about
competitive.
yeah, like if you think about it, how about we take humanity and think about all the animals that want to kill us? Like outside right now, there's probably an owl, a hawk, a coyote,
Sure.
and a fucking deer that want
Some
to just kill us.
bunnies.
Yeah, some bunnies
There
that
were
just
two
want
in
to
our
eat
yard
your
over
fucking
there.
asshole.
Bunnies are not going to kill you.
Oh, yeah, they
Leave
will.
it up to Carrie to say, and the bunnies.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were talking like
So-
sarcastically because
No,
I don't
no.
think an owl could
No,
kill me.
So I think like
or a hawk.
we got all this bullshit. Like it's teams, you have men versus women. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. You
Yes.
have Republican, Democrat, white versus black.
Yep.
All this bullshit. And we're all fucking human. If you just treat each person like a
Yeah,
human,
but-
like obviously like men
The
and women
way that
aren't
you
like
wanna be
physically
treated.
yeah, men
Okay,
and women
but
aren't
white-
physically the same.
White, yeah.
Or what do you want to say about white people?
I'm just
Everybody
saying
deserves the same
that
respect.
woman
That's it.
versus female, that is
woman
like
versus female.
a woman versus male. You look in the animal kingdom, and it's like very it's similar.
Well,
They're not judgy. There's no like race or politics or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't
in
know
the
about that
animal
because
kingdom.
a woman
They
lion,
lay
they
the
hunt,
eggs.
they find the kill, they hunt, they kill, and the man comes and eats the carcass and walks away.
Yeah,
And
they're
penguins.
they're also the more like dominant of the pair or whatever.
Of the who?
The
Of a
pair. Like
Oh.
the woman is usually like the lioness or whatever the female version of it is the one that is like being
You know about penguins?
Taking care. Right.
They take care of each other. They
Male
mate
and
for
female?
life. They find
Sure.
their partner. They go out and
The
hunt
whole
and come
mating,
back,
or
and
the-
they
the
find their.
kids.
Yeah,
all
they
I was
find their
trying to say
person
was
back.
that like race and politics don't have
Well, some
anything
people-
to do with that.
Yes, it does. For sure.
Well, what I was trying to say,
Over like whatever
I'm
you
trying
were
to
saying.
remember what I'm trying to say because
Yeah, he was on a tangent.
basically what I'm saying is stop fucking worrying about the person next to you and how they're different from you. Like, we're all basically people, whether you're Z, Zer, A, B, C, D, him, her, white, black, Hispanic. It doesn't
Asian,
fucking matter. Like,
right.
we're all people, and if we all just looked at someone like another person, maybe we could do a little bit of
I know, but
difference.
what I was trying to say, and I totally agree with that, is that in like the humanity in general, like with other animals, they don't look at other animals as like, oh, you're another animal that's the same breed. Like there's usually like
There's
the
a pecking
gender
order.
difference.
Yeah, if you look at animals, there's a hierarchy, and there's one on top, and the rest of them are trying to be on top, but they're getting their asses whooped. and the females are all only there for procreation. Besides maybe like
Not
lions
in
and
all
penguins.
not in all the species, though.
The majority.
What about a black widow? Guess what she does? She coerces the man to come and fuck her so she can lay some eggs. And then what does she do? Kills him.
And then what happens?
And
a guy
eats
comes and
him.
steps on that spider because his wife is screaming.
I'm just saying, there are definitely
different.
like species of animals that are female dominant.
But
And the
I think
seahorse,
if you
the
want to
male,
all I'm
compare,
saying.
the male
Right.
seahorse carries the child.
I think
Right.
if you want to compare us to animals, it's a bad comparison because
Totally
I think
bad
we're
comparison.
better than animals. Because if you look at the animal kingdom in general, not all species, we can find plenty of species that don't do it. But in general, like you have that natural pecking order where the male goes out, hunts, kills, fucks a female, female raises cubs, kids, whatever. I don't think humans are like that. I think humans are above that. And I guess that makes
Because
me a
of
feminist.
what Dee said,
because
involvement.
we have evolved
Yeah, exactly.
into something completely different than we used to be.
And now we're
Even just
devolving
only
into
40
aliens.
years ago. And to aliens.
We are. Think about it.
Into robots.
We keep
Right. In
we
sex
keep
toys.
getting softer, and we can't talk, and we keep the races intermingle, and we just keep doing it, and we don't have to work hard anymore because we have robots to
Computers and
do our
robots.
things.
Yeah.
And our
Sure.
bodies become frail, our heads become big, our skin becomes gray,
Well,
and we
I
start
think
time
the big
traveling.
thing with
Sure.
the times now is that a lot of our generation is entitled to
Oh, yeah,
privilege.
totally.
They don't want to work. They don't want to go to school. They don't want to learn a trade. They don't want to learn education. They want to be given what they deserve, which they deserve absolutely fucking nothing.
Right. They were born with a silver spoon in their mouth and they want it handed to them on a
Yep.
silver platter now.
So
in today's
now
age.
a lot
Right.
of the women are saying
Sure.
the men are so lazy, they won't go out and work. I have to go to school myself and get my damn self a job.
Sure.
So maybe that's another phase of involvement, another wave, Sean, another wave of involvement is because the society
anti-feminazis.
now doesn't want to work for
Yeah.
what they want, and the women realize that no one else is going to do it. I have to do it. So maybe that's the fifth wave.
Yeah, Carrie thought
survival skills.
Survival of the fittest.
Survival skills. Yeah.
Yeah, Carrie thought we were all going to have very different opinions. Carrie thought me and her were going to have the same. I think we all had pretty much the same opinion with slight variations, which were all good.
I think
Yeah.
we all
I don't think
blended
anyone
into
was
each other.
dumb. I don't
Sure.
think like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
you're
that's
fucking
what I
stupid.
said at the beginning before we started was I thought that it would be interesting to get everyone's take on things.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I think I broke a lot of glass ceilings by having an all-female panel, basically, to help me out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a little surprised.
Your first all-female panel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've done it with me and one other female a couple times.
Oh my god, it sounds like another podcast about to start.
Yeah. Did I
Yeah,
give
sorry, no.
Sasha her podcast shout out?
Yes, you
No,
did.
You did.
it. Oh, you
Yes,
did?
when we started.
Oh,
yeah.
we'll do it again.
No,
Yeah.
on her yoga studio. I had it all looked up and everything.
Maybe next time
Yeah,
we could do like a
that's-
podcast, but the microphone's on the floor, and we could all do yoga while we have a conversation.
No, so
There's
all
going to
right.
be all sorts of flatulation going on.
And
in that.
wine.
That's what happens when you try doing a podcast with female. They just
Oh my
don't
God,
shut the fuck up.
We talk about farting and periods, so.
So much fart blood. Like,
Oh my god.
I wish I could. I should just.
That's
Facebook
what you
Live
girls
this
would want
right
to
now.
talk
There's-
about is farting and
There's
period
blood
blood.
and
The
fart all
period
over.
poops are the worst.
Oh my god.
So anyway,
if Derek were here.
if you're doing
he'd be
yoga
like,
at all
I'll ever
in
talk about-
southeastern Wisconsin, you should check out the Balanced Yoga and Wellness Center. I think it's a center. I don't know. They should have a center. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But you should find
Balanced
them on
period yoga.
yeah, Balanced period yoga and wellness.
Yeah.
I think center would be
Can
good.
we say dot?
Okay. So anyway, it's at balance.yoga wellness on Facebook. They're at 9733 West St. Martin's Road in Franklin, Wisconsin. Check them out online at getbalancedyoga.com.
Yeah, they're not open yet. They're coming
Oh, they're
soon.
not? Okay, well, book
They
your...
have a meet and greet coming up too.
Oh,
Yeah, their
there
meet
you
and
go.
greet is not tomorrow, but next Saturday, the 10th, I
Well,
believe.
This is not hot yoga
No.
studio. Oh, thank God. I want to go. If you guys want to go, I'll totally
Is it
go as
naked
long
yoga?
as it's not hot yoga.
Yes, go.
Okay,
I'm
let's go.
photographing her meet and greet next Saturday.
Just
It's
having
in
naked
Franklin.
Well, by the
yoga and
time
you're
the
photographing
podcast
it?
comes out, that meet and greet's probably already going to be done. So
Oh.
anyway.
Well, it was a past
Anyway, check
Saturday.
out Balanced Yoga Wellness and check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Make Me a Fan Podcast, or on Twitter, Make Me a Fan, or on the intro web at www.makemeafanpodcast.com.
That's a lot of W's.
It is.
He does that every
W.
time.
It is.
W.
And YouTube, right?
Oh yeah, on
Yeah,
YouTube. You can
YouTube,
find the
too.
links on the webpage. at
HTTPS/:.
No, don't type that because that's probably wrong. We're not.
Yeah,
that-
it's not a colon. It's
Yeah.
a 2-dot thing.
It's yeah. Don't
That's a
The Dewey
colon.
Decimals
don't
and stuff.
backslash your colon. It'll hurt. All right.
Oh my God.
All right. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back again next week. Dee, can you say "Make Me a Fan" podcast?
Make Me a Fan podcast.
Shauna.
Make Me a Fan podcast.
All right. Carrie, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
What the fuck?
Mental vacation.
Makes me seem like a horrible individual.
You are.
Yeah.
Have anal sex with a person who, prior to the deed, has swallowed a piece of raw bacon.
Like fucking a chicken. That'd be awesome.
Well, make me a fan of your crime.
They still had places to go. You know, there were still bars.
Make me a fan podcast.